This is quite a challenge.
Is it going to be a 5 stars? Like, reading's meant to be fun, it's meant to be enjoyable.
Got a very, very exciting present for myself in the post.
It's so nice and sunny outside. The window is open, the birds are chirping. It feels like spring is officially here.
Hi guys, happy Monday and welcome back to the first weekly reading vlog of March. If you saw my March reset video, you know that I'm planning on doing weekly reading vlogs dedicated to specific things across the month of March, and this is the first one. And this week we are solely focusing on my Kindle TBR. This isn't going to be like, I'm going to see how many books I can get through on my Kindle, because I have currently 27 books downloaded on my Kindle, whether they are brought on my Kindle or whether they are Kindle Unlimited books. I am going to still be sticking to my March TBR, plus a rollover from February, because I really, really want to read this book and it's been staring at me since it came out and I just haven't had time to get around to it yet. So here we are. It is Monday the 3rd of March. We're here with the first weekly reading vlog. I'm feeling positive. The sun is shining and it's meant to be shining all week. So I'm just here to be motivated and read a lot this week. Fingers crossed, because the first book that I want to read and tackle in February is a beast of a book, but it is a romance, and that is The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. I think this is the third and final book in the Campus Diaries series, which makes me so sad, but I'm so excited for the synopsis of this book. So this book follows our main character Charlie, who can't decide between the two characters that we've met in The Dixon Rule and in The Graham Effect, Will and Beckett. She can't decide between the two of them. It's a bit like a love triangle, but then it's just male, female romance, and I'm really excited to get my teeth into it. But it is 580 pages. So I'm attempting to read this across 3 days, which according to my Notion tracker is 176 pages per day. I think I could do it with how easy and bingeable Elle Kennedy's books are, but seeing as for the last 2 weeks of February I was barely reading 50 pages a day, this is quite a challenge. But I do want to push myself in March. I do want to hone in and focus back into reading and reading a lot and spending my free time reading, which I didn't really do in February. So hopefully this will kind of kick myself back into the reading gear, because I know that I'm going to be able to binge this book really easily. And then hopefully once I finish, because I'm manifesting that I'm going to finish The Charlie Method in 3 days, which is still quite a challenge, but I think I have full faith in myself, because the other book on my Kindle that's on my March TBR that I could read this week is The People on Platform 5 by Claire Pooley. And that's the only other Kindle book I have on my March TBR, so I should read that one. But yesterday the new March Kindle deals came out, and there are 2 books I picked up that I've been wanting to read for quite a while. One was $3.99 and one was 99p, so I couldn't resist, and that was The Favourites by Lane Fargo, which I've been seeing everywhere at the minute and it sounds right up my alley. And then the other one is The Wedding People by Alison, I don't know how to pronounce the author's name, like Estrich, maybe, probably butchering it, but everyone knows about that book as well, and those are 2 books I've recently brought on my Kindle that are really intriguing me and I want to read. But my Kindle, like I said, is filled with 27 books currently, so once I get The Charlie Method out of the way, I should go on to The People on Platform 5, but it's my Kindle. I'm gonna see what I'm in the mood for, because I really don't want to get into a reading slump like I did a little bit in February. So we're just gonna see where the week takes us. Happy Monday, and I'll keep you posted.
Happy Wednesday. I'm working from home today, so I've just started my lunch break and I'm going to continue reading The Charlie Method on my lunch break because I'm getting close to finishing it. This book is so bingeable. I'm 69% of the way through, no pun intended. This book is steamy, but in like the best possible way. I was on sprints with Chloe and her Patreon on Monday, and someone said Elle Kennedy's books are so samey, and they are, but they're just, I eat them up. I absolutely love them. I love the whole universe she's created. I love how every single book you get hints of other characters from previous spin-off series or the main series, and it's just like a really wholesome vibe with some very well written smutty scenes in my personal opinion. This one does I think, go the furthest out in terms of smut. This follows the main character Charlie, who's really trying to be this perfect student. She's part of a Greek sorority. She's really trying to be like keeping up her GPR, is that what it is in America, like her grades at university, and she's really like got this persona of being the perfect person. And she's been adopted, and she's on this journey to try and figure out where she came from. She is Korean American and was adopted by an American family and brought to America. So now she's old enough, she's decided to try and find out some of her roots. And see if she has any relatives. So she's going on like a self-discovery journey at the same time. And two guys from the Briar U ice hockey team, Beckett and Will, who you meet in the other series, and if you know, you know, she ends up dating both of them at the same time with everyone's knowledge and consent involved. And it's just a fun old time. If you know, you know. If you get it, you get it. But it's definitely very, very smutty, very, very steamy. Does it take less of the plot because of the smut? Potentially. You're not really getting that much character development with Will and Beckett, but you're definitely getting the self-development story with Charlie, so it kind of makes up for the amount of smut there is. It is a 528-page book, which I'm not complaining about because I think Elle Kennedy's writing so bingeable, so easy to read. I'm basically 70% of the way through it, and I feel like I'm going to finish it today. I've got about 200 pages left, and I'm very, very excited to see where it ends, because I'm like, she's going to have to pick one of the two guys. I think I know which direction she's going to go in, but it'll be interesting to see how Elle Kennedy pans out the plot, and see kind of like where she allows Charlie and Beckett and Will to end up, because I'm very, very intrigued. I don't want anyone to get hurt because I love Will and Beckett equally, and yeah, I don't want to see anyone get hurt. So I'm going to be very intrigued. I'm going to continue reading this on my lunch break now and see how far I get, but I'm very much enjoying it. Is it going to be a 5 stars? No, and the reason why is because Will and Charlie are lab partners, and Will is proofreading a historical fan fiction between Alexander the Great and Elizabeth II, I want to say, for his ex-lab partner. And you get snippets of the fan fiction, and I'm going to put my hands up, I'm not reading those sections because I don't really think they have much to do with the story. If it wasn't for that kind of like side plot, which you don't really get much involvement in, you only just get these random like 4 pages of this historical fanfic every so often, and I don't really see how it contributes to the overall plot. So I'm not reading those sections, and if those sections weren't in it, this book would be a 5 star, but those sections are in it and I'm not reading them, so I feel like I can't give this book a 5 stars. So I think it's going to be a 4.5, but that's where we're at. I'm going to continue reading, make some lunch, and have a whale of a time. I'm very, very excited. Happy Friday. I have finished The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy, giving it a 5 star, which is my second 5 star of 2025. Regarding my reread, I'm not counting as like a brand new 5 stars. I've had 3 so far, but that includes 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston, which was a reread. 2 brand new 5 stars for me this year, which is really, really exciting. The Charlie Method, just scraping 1. I was umming whether to give it a 5 star just because there was one side plot that I wasn't completely loving, but I could ignore those bits completely. It's basically like a fan fiction section where Elle Kennedy actually writes the fan fiction, and it's historical fan fiction between Queen Elizabeth and someone else, and I just didn't care. And although the characters spoke about it within the book, by reading it, I didn't lose out on any of the actual plot of the story. So although I was thinking I was going to give it a 4.5 stars, I loved it so much, I gave it a 5. I almost cried at the ending. I was tearing up, and Mark goes, why the hell are you like almost crying? And I was like, I don't know, because 1, they're fictional characters, and 2, like it was such an interesting dynamic of a story that I wasn't expecting to love so much. And I just thoroughly enjoy my time reading it. So like, why not give it a 5 star? Like, reading's meant to be fun. It's meant to be enjoyable. Why am I being so critical on my 5 stars if I just have a good time reading them? So I gave it a 5 stars, and I feel very, very confident in my decision to do that. I was on such a reading roll that I decided to start my next book, which I did decide to start People on Platform 5 by Claire Pooley. And I read 15 pages of this the same night that I finished The Charlie Method. And yesterday on Thursday, I didn't read anything. And I'm not gravitating towards this book, and I don't want to put myself into a slump or in a mood of not wanting to read just because of the book that I picked. So the prompt for this book that managed to make onto my March TBR was to randomise my Kindle TBR. So to still complete the same prompt, I'm just going to randomise my Kindle TBR again with you guys and see what book we get. And if I want to read it, I'll read it. If not, I'll just kind of like deviate from the TBR and just read what I want, because I'm in the mood for like a fast-paced thriller. I'm maybe thinking like All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which I also have on my Kindle. I'm just not in the mood for reading like a contemporary kind of like a lit fic. So the books on my TBR that I would kind of want to read right now are All In by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, maybe Falling by TJ Newman, just something fast paced. That's kind of it. Those are the books I'm kind of like intrigued to read. Oh, The Naturals. All In's like the third book. Where did I get that from? The Naturals. So I'm just gonna randomise my TBR again. So let me just remind myself how many books I have on my Kindle TBR. 7, generate, 15. Oh God, okay. I'm scared. I'm scared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No, I don't want to read it. It's The Never-Ending Summer, which is a NetGalley arc. I'm not in the mood to read that. So I'm not going to. So what do I want to read? I do think I want to read The Naturals, or just find a thriller that's on KU. Maybe I can read my first Freedom McFadden, because I've not read her yet, and maybe that's the way to go. I'm going to have a think about it, but I definitely know that I'm going to soft DNF People on Platform 5 just because I'm not feeling it and I want a fast-paced book. So it's going to be some sort of like YA thriller mystery-esque book, and I'll come back when I've got an exact book that I want to read, because I'll probably end up reading on my lunch break because I am working from home today because it's Friday. Yay. Instantly off the bat, we've got The Boyfriend by Freedom McFadden, and also After That Night by Karen Slaughter. And I've heard quite good things about the author as well, and they're both on KU. I've heard quite good things about Alice Feeney as well, Good Bad Girl. The latest gripping, twisty thriller. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I've read the first book in the Inheritance Games and enjoyed it, but have never continued on with the series. So I'm going to give this one a go. It's a YA, it's a mystery thriller, I think. I don't actually know what it's about, but I've heard good things. And I do want that kind of like quick, fast pace. And it says it's only going to take 3 hours and 33 minutes to read, which is perfect. Because I feel like at the minute I've been reading a lot of like high 300s to early 400. Elle Kennedy's was a 528 page book, so it'll be quite nice to just take it easy with a nice YA that hopefully won't take too long to read. So I'm going to give this one a go, and I'm intrigued. I'm going to find out what it's about and let you know once I do. Yeah, this sounds like my vibe that I need right now. So, and all the books are on KU, so if I really enjoy this one, I can then go straight into the second one, and it's got a 4.21 average rating on Goodreads, which is amazing. So yeah, it's about our main character who's 17 years old, Cassie, who can read people, and then the FBI need her help in kind of figuring out some classified programs using exceptional teenagers to crack infamous cold cases, and they need Cassie, and it just sounds like a good time, and I've heard good things about it. So yeah, that's my next book. Happy Saturday. Got a very, very exciting present for myself in the post, so I'm going to open it because I know what it is, but I'm so excited. I don't know if I've included the clip of me buying this box set on Monday or not, but it came really, really quickly. And this is where it's not actually the box set at all. And it's something completely different. But I haven't ordered anything different, so I'm going to assume it's the box set. Clues is one of my new favourite romance series. I read a book from a spin-off series this week. Yeah, it's these books. Oh, I'm so excited. I will pull out one at a time because they're not in order. You can't see Mark in the camera. Okay. They're all individually wrapped.
Oh, nice package.
I'm opening my favourite book first. It just happened to be on top, which is pretty funny, but it's The Score by Elle Kennedy, the Illumicrate signed limited edition. Is it signed? I'm pretty sure it's signed.
Is it signed?
No, not signed. I thought they were signed. They're not signed.
The side of the pages are lovely.
Yeah. The hardbacks are like some of the texts, front and back. And they have cover art. I'm like, where is it all? They have cover art on the end pages as well, like illustrated, and the spines. Ugh. Love. I feel like I'm gonna have to do a reread of all these and maybe not write in them, but tab them up because they're too pretty to write in. This is book 2, I think, if I remember correctly. Book 2, The Goal. All green. This is so pretty. It's so pretty. Definitely the reread. Number 3, The Mistake. This is number 4. This is number 4. Oh no, number 2. This is Mistake's number 2. The Goal is number 4. That's so cool. That's cool. Al Kennedy has more than 50 titles in the contemporary romance and romantic suspense genre. How crazy is that? Imagine writing 50 novels.
50?
Yeah.
Yeah, how people find the time.
I know. The first one in the series, The Deal, the one that starts off the entire Briar universe with Hannah and Garrett. Garrett Graham. I love books. Do I remember the characters' names? No. It's just so nice to like put faces to the names of. Oh no, the first one's signed. The first one's signed.
Oh, okay. So
The
it's not all
first
of them.
one's signed. How exciting!
So you thought it was all of them?
I thought it was all of them.
At least one of them signed.
Yeah.
That's 2 signed books you've got today.
It is. I haven't told you about the other book. I'll go get it in a minute once I've finished. The Deal, classic, first one, and then the kind of like 5th and kind of end of the series, but this is like a collection of short stories about all the characters and where they're at, and I really enjoyed just getting loads it's basically loads of mini epilogues of where all the characters are at, and it's just a good old fun time. So I'm glad they've included this book in the little collection. This is The Legacy. I'm not going to show you the cover of this one because I feel like it spoils the rest of the series, like the artwork in it, but just take my word for it, it's very, very pretty. How exciting. All the sprayed edges are different designs depending on the characters. That's so exciting. They look so pretty together. Let me do a little final stack. So you've got The Goal, no. The Mistake, no. The Deal, The Mistake, The Goal, The Score. I'll get it right eventually. The Goal. And The Legacy. They're all so pretty. Oh, they're so pretty. Right, I'm going to go get you the other book that I brought today as well, because I'm going to be reading it in next week's reading vlog, which is reading books off my physical TBR, but I know I just added it, but it is still technically on my physical TBR, so I'm going to go get that and show you, because I'm very excited for it. So Thrilled for You by Holly Bourne. This is Holly Bourne's latest release. I can't remember when it came out, I think end of February. But when I went into Waterstones a couple of weeks ago and tried to get it, they didn't have it in stock. Randomly went in this morning and they had it. Well, I'm out of breath from walk upstairs. It's signed, which is really exciting. If you didn't know, I love Holly Bourne's adult books. I've rated all of them like 5 or 4.5 stars. The ones I've read. So very, very excited to get to this one. I picked it up just because it's Holly Bourne. And then I read the blurb, and I'm going to read you the blurb, and then you're going to try and guess why it reminds me of one of my favourite books of all time. It says, Nikki, Lauren, Charlotte and Steffi have been friends since university. Now in their 30s, life is pulling them in different directions. But when Charlotte organises the baby shower from hell for pregnant Nikki, the girls are reunited. Under the sweltering hot summer sun, tensions rise, and by the end of the day, nothing will ever be the same. Someone started a fire at the house and everyone's a suspect. So that's like the different, like the spin-off plot that isn't similar. Is it Steffi, happily child-free but feeling judged by her friends? Is it Charlotte, desperate to conceive and jealous of those who have? Is it Lauren, who is finding motherhood hard, far, far harder than she imagined? Or is it Nikki herself, who never wanted a baby shower anyway? Who do those 4 friends remind you of? I ask you. Give you like 5 seconds to write in the comments. Olive, yeah, Olive. So much reminds me of Olive, minus like the who started the fire plot twist, which is a really interesting take. So I don't think it's gonna be similar to Olive in terms of like the actual plot and the conversations of being child free, etc., etc. But the fact that you have 4 friends who are all at different stages of their lives, all trying to navigate motherhood in different ways, and then a character wanting to be child free, etc. And then this whole weird plot about setting a fire in a house on a baby shower day. It's just, I'm just very, very intrigued, and I'm so glad I just picked this book up because it's Holly Bourne, and then I read the blurb because I'm really, really excited to read it, and I am going to read it next week because, yeah, I'm excited to give it a go. So, I don't buy many physical books anymore, but what a book haul today that is. I'm very, very excited for them all. The lighting is awful, but I'm going to take it because it's so nice and sunny outside. The window is open, the birds are chirping. It feels like spring is officially here, but I feel like it's not going to last, so I'm going to appreciate it while it's here, and I'm going to deal with the shit lighting. But I'm 57% of the way through The Naturals, reading a lot of it this morning, and I'm definitely getting more intrigued. It started off quite slow. We were introduced to kind of like the setup of the story for quite a while, and it's only started to get like really interesting. But you can definitely tell it's a setup for a series because you're not getting that much fed to you through the first book. Obviously, being 57% of the way through, it's only starting to like build up the action. It basically follows our main character Cassie, who has been kind of recruited by the FBI because she's got these like special powers where she can really read people to help deal with cold cases and catch serial killers. And she's not the only kind of natural, which is what they call themselves. There's another group of teenagers who have other special kind of abilities that help the FBI deal with these cases, and they live in a house together and they basically just work up these cases. And the main case in the first book is basically that Cassie's mother was killed, and they don't know who killed her. It happened 5 years ago, and the case was never really resolved. And that kind of the story kind of progresses from there. And it's interesting. It didn't grasp my attention straight away, but I'm definitely more intrigued now, and I'm intrigued to see where it ends and kind of like if it has a cliffhanger to see kind of like to see you get drawn into the second book, the third book, etc. They're very easy to read. They're quick to read. I haven't had that much time to dedicate to reading over the last couple of days, so I'm really hoping I can finish this today. I'm hoping I can because I'm almost 60% of the way through and it's very quick and easy to read. So I have hope, and it says I've only got 120-ish pages left, so I definitely think it's doable. So I'll keep you posted, but happy Sunday. I hope the sun is shining where you are because it makes everyone in a better mood, and I'm very, very excited for summer now that the weather's like this. I just really hope it stays. It is now Monday morning. I'm just here to wrap up this week's reading vlog dedicated to reading just Kindle books. I did, in fact, yesterday evening finish The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. When I was putting in my like page number for the day, I didn't actually realise how much I read. That was how quick of an easy book it was. I didn't realise yesterday I started on page 68 and I managed to finish the entire book at 317 pages. So I read like 250 pages yesterday. It was brilliant. It was such a successful reading day, and I didn't even feel like I was reading for that length of time. If I was reading a different book, 250 pages probably would have felt like quite a hefty amount, but a book just kind of like flew through the book. And it just was a really easy paced book. Was it the best book ever? No, I gave it a 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it. It definitely took a little bit of time for me to get into the story. It definitely felt like it was setting up the world and the characters for a series, obviously, which it is. I think it's like a 4-book series. I do think I will continue on with the series, but this book can definitely be read as a standalone. You do get your answers from the murder mystery that you're solving in the first book by the end of the first book. So it's not like you're left on a cliffhanger where you need to read the sequel to find out the answers from the first book. You do kind of have this nice rounded up, kind of like wrapped in a nice pretty bow, the ending of the first murder mystery that they solve in this book. There are a few things in there that I didn't really think that were needed, and that was the romance. It was kind of like a love triangle, and I don't think it was needed in this book. It was a fun, solid YA mystery, definitely something that I felt like I needed because I was just a bit done with reading your like contemporary romances for the time being, especially jumping off the 5-star that we had at the beginning of this video, which was The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. I just needed something completely different, and I definitely got that from The Naturals, and I enjoyed my time reading it. It just wasn't like the best book I've ever written. I definitely didn't write it. If I wrote it, I'd be very, very proud of myself. It's just not the best book I've ever read, but I still had a fun time reading it. So overall, this vlog was really successful, and I'm going into the next week's weekly reading vlog just reading book off my physical TBR. And I'm kind of hoping I can smash out 3 books next week, so be sure to stay tuned for next week's weekly reading vlog. I am loving vlogging again, so I'm really hoping you guys are enjoying it. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up and subscribe down below to see future content from me and anything from weekly reading vlogs, monthly TBRs, monthly wrap-ups, and any other bookish content that you can think of. I usually have on this channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.